worked late today and am so exhausted. My boss rejected my proposal again. I'm so frustrated. When someone around you confides in you, do you instinctively want to respond with, "Then, get up earlier tomorrow," or "Next time"? Please communicate with him in advance. We often think that offering solutions is well-intentioned help, but we overlook the fact that often, what the other person needs isn't how to solve the problem, but to have their emotions recognized. Rushing to offer advice can be like jumping into the water to save someone without even asking if they can swim. This disrupts their flow and puts you in a thankless position. Why is offering solutions as soon as a problem arises counterproductive? This reaction hides 3 easily overlooked issues that not only fail to truly help the other person, but can also damage the relationship. 1. You're taking someone else's life test. Everyone's problems are essentially their own personal life test. Overwork and fatigue are tests of balancing work and rest, while rejection from the boss is a test of how to communicate and adjust. Giving them answers like "go to bed early" and "communicate" in advance may seem like a way to pass the test, but it actually deprives them of the opportunity to solve the problem themselves. Just like if you constantly hold a child's hand while they learn to walk, they'll never learn to stand independently. If you constantly solve other people's problems for them, they'll never learn to face difficult situations. 2. You're forcibly intervening in someone else's causal relationships. Every problem has its causes and consequences. His fatigue from overtime could be due to an urgent project, or his inability to refuse extra work. His rejection from his boss could be due to flaws in his proposal, or a problem with his communication style. These causes and consequences are part of his life experience, and he needs to sort them out and face them on his own. If you force your way in and disrupt this natural flow with what you should do, you might actually complicate the situation. For example, if someone follows your advice and talks to their boss, their lack of preparation only exacerbates the conflict, and they might even blame you for their bad advice. 3. You don't see the emotions behind the problem. Most of the time, people discuss problems not to get answers, but to release their emotions. Just as a fever is merely a symptom of physical discomfort, being tired from work or being rejected are merely outward expressions of emotional distress. Say, "I'm tired from working overtime." They might be expressing, "I've put in a lot of effort, but no one sees it, and I feel a little aggrieved." Say, "My boss is strict." They might be expressing, "I've tried hard but still haven't done well, and am feeling a little self-doubtful." Say, "My child isn't listening." They might be expressing, "I'm exhausted from taking care of them every day, and am feeling a little irritated." At this point, offering suggestions like "go to bed early," "talk to your boss," or "be strict with the child" is like simply telling someone to drink more hot water when they have a fever, failing to address the core emotional need. Even the most perfect solution will be useless, and may even leave them feeling like they don't understand. Someone might say, "I want to listen, but his negativity is so contagious that it makes me uncomfortable." This is perfectly normal. Human emotions are contagious, and when we listen to others' troubles, we inevitably get swept up in them. But this doesn't mean we should be forced to accept every emotion. The key is to learn to establish emotional boundaries, like building a permeable wall in your heart, allowing the other person's emotions in, without letting them take over your space. 1. You have the right to refuse to listen. If the other person's emotions are overly negative, or if you're feeling down, you can honestly say, "I'm a little busy, not feeling well right now. Let me get back to talking." Okay, this isn't indifference, it's a way of being responsible for yourself and the other person. Listening when you're tired or irritated not only fails to empathize, but you might also accidentally say something impatient that hurts the other person. 2. Use limited responses to avoid emotional overload. If you choose to listen, don't force yourself to be fully immersed in empathy. Use brief responses to express understanding while maintaining distance. For example, if someone says, "Working overtime is exhausting," you could say, "That sounds really tough. Constant overtime must be very draining." This acknowledges their emotions without becoming overly involved. Avoid asking, "What specific overtime did they work?" or "Why isn't your boss understanding?" Avoid getting bogged down in emotional details. 3. True empathy. From giving advice to expressing feelings. So, when someone shares a problem, what should we do? It's actually very simple. Replace what you should do with, "I feel what you feel," and replace solving the problem with seeing the emotion. These empathic responses don't offer any solutions, but they do allow the other person to feel understood. When someone's emotions are seen and accepted, they often find solutions themselves, just like a child who falls down and first cries for a hug. Then, after receiving comfort, gets up and keeps running when emotions are soothed, the difficulty of the problem decreases. Finally, listening is a more gentle form of help than simply solving the problem. Many people rush to offer advice because their emotions were ignored as children. For example, when they cried and said they were scared, their parents simply said, "What's there to be afraid of? Hurry up and do your homework." When they said they were so sad about not doing well on the test, their parents simply said, "What's the point of being sad? Just do your best next time." Over time, we learn to suppress our emotions and mistakenly believe that emotions are unimportant. Solving the problem is what matters, But in reality, whether it's with friends, colleagues, or children, listening to your emotions is the most fundamental and valuable form of companionship. It doesn't require exceptional problem-solving skills. It simply requires letting go of the need to rush to provide an answer and earnestly saying, "I understand how you feel." That's all that matters. After all, everyone needs to solve their own life problems in the end. But before solving them, all they need is someone to see my difficulties and someone to stay with me for a while.